Now, for Certified Ethical Hacker for CH, preparing Windows and Linux machines. Preparing these Windows and Linux machine to do the practicals, to do the task. So we should create a lab. For setting up a lab, what we need is we need some Windows machines. We need Windows Server machines, Windows Server 2012 or 2016. We need some client machines, Windows 10 client, which they are connected together through the network switch we have. Then we need firewall also, so that we can test some firewall rules. Then we need internet connection. We need internet connection so that we can do some internet things. So there are lots of things we can do from the internet. So we need internet connection also. Now for doing the practice, we need to run some of the tools or applications. For doing some methods, some phases, what we need is to run some applications and tools. And for that we need a machine for a hacker, like the machine where we will try to exploit other machines. So we can use a Kali Linux for that. So this is what a simple setup we have, which we should create in our local environment, so that we can do test our different methods of security information, and we can do test our different tools. So what we need basically is we need Windows machines to create client server network, so we can test different hacking methods. We need Windows Server 2016 and or Windows Server 2012 to create as a domain server, that we can create a domain and domain controller. Then we can create some web servers, and we need Windows machine to create the domain and web server. We can create file servers and database servers. So we need Windows 10 also as a client to test client side attacks. So we can use physical machines. Now if we are creating a lab, so we can use the physical machines, but it is a good idea to test these attacks on virtual machines, because some of the hacking tools can permanently corrupt your system. So if you try to use these tools or applications on your real machines, your physical machines, that means you can harm your systems. Then you have to reinstall again and again. So it is better idea to attack these things on virtual system. It is separated from your main network. So if you are using it your physical machine in your main network, then when you run some attack on some machine, it can affect the other machines also in your network. So whatever you try to do, you should try to do on virtual machines. So for virtual machines, what we do, we can use VMware and other virtualization softwares. So what I am going to use is Windows, this VMware. I am going to use this VMware workstation to create virtual machines, and in that virtual machines I can install Windows operating systems, and then I can use those machines to do attack or test some attacks. Now in workstation, how you will create virtual machines? Very simple. In the home tab you will go to create new virtual machine from here, or suppose if it is not home tab is not there, then you can go and click on file and create new virtual machines. Now what we need is server 2016 or server 2012. So let me create server 2016 first. So you will go with the typical setting. Installation, I will install the operating system later. Then you will select the operating system here, and from here we will select what type of operating system we want. If suppose these different type of operating system, I am going for Windows, So Windows, we have these different type of operating system, but it will give only the machine. It will not give the operating system that we have to install later. So I'm going to select this Windows Server 2016, which I'm going to use, and then I will say no, yes, next. Then here you will mention the name for your virtual machine. Let's say I will say this machine as a Windows Server or Server 2016, and it is going to store into the C drive, so you have to have a specific required space available. Then how much you want to give the virtual disk space to the server. I'm giving 100 GB, 60 GB is the recommended space, and I'm going to store into a single file. And next, and these are the settings which I have chose, and I will go for finish. So this is the machine I created, and what I'll do here, I can edit the machine to edit some settings. Some settings, like if you want to increase or decrease the RAM, then you can do that from here. I'm increasing the RAM so that it will install quickly. Then I can go for the hard disk. Hard disk is already decided. Then I will go for the CD DVD. Now in CD DVD you have to put the installation image. So if you are having an installation image on your DVD, then you can connect your DVD to your machine and it will detect from here physical drive. Or if you are having an ISO image, then you will select the ISO image and you will browse the ISO image from your system. So I'm having the ISO image under the downloads. So Windows Server 2016 I'm having. So I will select it. And then other networking settings we have here, we can choose to change those settings also. And this is what our machine is created, and for starting the machine, we will start the machine from here, and it will start the installation. Now installation is also easy for Windows systems. Installation steps are also easy. So this is Windows Server 2016, the language you want to install, and time and zone. So you will select the zone time which you are right now in. So I will select my zone. English, India. Keyboard layout also the same. And next, keyboard layout is always important, because you have to know that what is your keyboard layout. Otherwise, if you choose a wrong layout, then your keys will misplace. So be careful when you are choosing the keyboard layout, but after the installation also you can change. Then I will select install. And it is going to start the installation. Now here you have to select the version edition which you want to install. This DVD has two editions, standard and data center edition. So I'm going for data center edition, and also it has two options to choose the core version or graphical version. Core version is the command line version and graphical version is the desktop experience. So I'm going with the data center evolution. So I want data center desktop experience. Next, then accept the license agreement. Without accepting, you cannot go next. Then if you want to upgrade, then you will select upgrade, but I want to install the fresh, so I'll go with custom installation. And you will select the partitioning is whatever partitions you want, you can create here. I'm not going to create any, so it is going to be the default partition, single partition. And now the installation is started. So this is how what we can do the installation. And after the installation, whatever you want, you can configure it here first. Suppose we want web server, we want database server, or we want Active Directory server. So we should configure those things here so that we can use those things. Now it is going to take a little time, and because it is taking a little time for installation, so it will take a little time. Now if you want to install Windows Server 2012, then the procedure is same. Create the virtual machine, and the same procedure we do, and only use the Server 2012 image. So the process of installation is also same, and actually both look same. So it is already now installed, and when the installation is finished, so it will ask for setting the password of administrator. So I will set this first, abc@123, and the installation is done. Now I will log into this machine. Now after logging, what you will do first is to install the VMware tool. The network is also connected. So first you should install the VMware tool. Whenever you create any machine in virtual machine, this VMware, you need to install the VMware tool for that. It is like a driver, virtual driver for the virtual machines. So our virtual machine will work properly. So how you will install the VMware tool? We'll go to VM tab here and select install VMware tool. So when you click on this, it will insert the VMware tool DVD CD into the virtual machine CD, and it is there. So I will click that and I will say run VMware tool. So it adds the CD into the CD drive. So it adds this VMware tool CD into the DVD drive, and we have already executed it, so it is here. So you just go for the simple installation, typical, and now after the installation your machine is ready. It will reboot one time, so after reboot it is going to be ready. Then you can configure what you want to configure in this virtual machine. You can configure the domain, you can configure web servers also. So whatever you need, you can do configure here. And it is installed now. It will reboot one time, so I will say yes, reboot this. And it is rebooting. So it is installed and it is now ready. Now whenever you do create virtual machine, what you will do or what you should do in virtual machine, you should take a snapshot. Taking a snapshot is a good idea. When you do some cracking and if you corrupt your virtual machine, then you can go back to the previous version. You don't have to reinstall again and again and again. So it is a good idea to create a snapshot for your virtual machine. So it is already done now. So what I will do, I will shut down the machine so that I can create the virtual snapshot. Remember, when you take a snapshot when the machine is running, so it will use the running status also. So the size of the snapshot can be big. So it will take more space in your hard disk. So it is a good idea to take a snapshot when your machine is shut down. So I shut down the machine, and then I will go to VM tab, and here I have an option to snapshot. I can take the snapshot, or I can go to snapshot manager. I can go to snapshot manager. I will go now. In this, it is showing that you are right now here and you want to take a snapshot. So I will click on take a snapshot and mention the name for your snapshot. Like I'm saying, it is a fresh installation, and I will take it. Now you can take many these snapshots. You can take more than one snapshots also. So after configuring something else, we can also take a snapshot. So this is a good idea. If suppose you did something wrong, your machine is corrupt, then you will just select the snapshot which was working properly, and then you will click go to. So when you click go to, your machine will go back to that previous version and it will start working again. Now this is what server Windows Server 2016. You will need Windows client also. Like I have already installed Windows 10 client here. So we can use this Windows 10 as a client. Now what next? We need hacking tool. For running or using the hacking tool, we can use Windows system also. Remember, we can also use Windows system, but it is not any tools installed, and you have to install all the tools. So doing the hacking and running these hacking tools and applications, we can use Windows system also. We can use Windows system, but Windows system does not have any tool installed. Whatever the tool you required, you have to find it and you have to install it in this Windows system. Now basically most of the tools are not supported in Windows. So if you are using a Windows machine, so lots of tools are not supported in Windows system or for Windows system. Now why? Lots of the tools our hacking tools are making for the Linux, because Linux is open source. It is open source. You can easily modify the Linux. You can easily modify the codes on that. Windows is not that easily modifiable. So hackers mostly use Linux systems. So we can use any Linux system for doing these hacking tools and application. But whatever the Linux system we can use Red Hat, we can use Ubuntu, we can use Debian, we can use Fedora, we can use any kind of Linux system. But the tools which we required and applications which we require to do the forensic on penetration testing, that tools are not installed there on those Linux system by default. So what we use is the Kali Linux. Now this Kali Linux is a Debian driven Linux distribution. Now this is actually it is actually designed on Debian system, and it is for the digital forensic and penetration testing, and it is designed for the single purpose of doing the penetration testing and digital forensics. So for that, it has all the tools and functionality available in that, and it is already installed in that Linux system, and it is maintained and funded by Offensive Security Group, and it is open source, it is free, and whatever the tools we required, it is easily available, and most of the tools are already installed in this Linux system. So most of the tools are pre-installed, and whatever it is not installed, we can easily we can get these tools on Kali Linux. So we can do what? We can use the Kali Linux for running those applications and hacking tools. Now where we'll get the Kali Linux? It is very easily you can get the Kali Linux from the official site of Kali, and you can get it free because it is open source. So you will just have to go to the browser, you go to the Google, and you'll do what? Kali Linux, you can say ISO download, and you will see this link, which is kali.org. This is the official site, and under that you can see the download page. It is directly showing the download page. So when you click on it, so here you can see all the distributions or all the versions of Kali Linux. First, these are the images we have. Image names are these: Kali Linux 64-bit. This is installer, Kali Linux 64-bit live, and Kali Linux 64-bit net installer. Now what is the difference between these three images? This one is the installer. That means this image is used to install the Kali Linux. This one is the live CD. Now live CD means what? You can even install this. You can use this DVD to install the Kali Linux also. But this one is live. Live means you can run this Kali without installing it on any system. That means you can just connect the DVD into the machine, or even you can create a bootable drive, a bootable flash, and just connect the bootable flash to the system, and you can boot it from that flash. You can boot it from that DVD, and it will start. It is the live DVD. So you don't have to install the Kali Linux. You can just run the Kali Linux from anywhere. Now why it is important to run the live? Because suppose you have you wanted to hack some system, and already that system contains Windows Server 2016. It is already a server. You have somehow get the access of that server. Now what you will do, you will not remove that operating system. You want to get the information from there, you want to hack that system. So what you will do, and even you don't know the password of that Windows server, that you can log into the system and you can break something. So what you can do, you can just connect the flash in that system and boot your Kali from that flash. So your Kali will boot from the flash, and then you can manipulate the operating system which is installed in the main hard disk. So this live DVD, live image is very good for the hackers, that they can run this Kali from everywhere, anytime, anywhere. You can have also network installer that you can use to install the Kali from network. So whatever the DVD image what you want, you can click on it and it will give you the option to, it will start downloading. You can even have a torrent also, that you can use the torrent to download also. You can direct download here, you can click here to download directly, or you can click here to get the torrent, so that you can download it from torrent. You can see the release note also from here, which gives you the information about what is the new thing about in this Kali version. This is the new version, this is the latest version of Kali. So what are the new things we have in this Kali, what are the changes they have? You can see this here in release note. So there are some changes here which you can see here, some graphical changes, some terminal changes are there. Now the terminal looks like this. So you can read this article to get some information about what it has changed. Now this is for installation, this is for live, this is for network installation. Then if you are using the Kali on Apple machine, then you can use these installers. Again, installer, live and network installer. Then you have 32-bit version, these are 64-bit version. Then you have 32-bit version. Then you can see here download Kali Linux weekly builds. Weekly whatever updates comes, you can download it from there. Then you can download the Kali virtual machine directly. That means you don't have to download it, don't have to install it from the image. It is already installed. You can directly download the VMware machine, virtual machine for VMware, or you can directly download the virtual machine for VirtualBox. You just have to download it and you can start it in your virtual machine. You can start it in your VMware. You don't have to install anything, it is already there. But the size of this may be big. So from here you can download it, and then I have downloaded this live CD, so I'll show you how you can run it live and also how you can install it. So I have already downloaded it, so we'll see how we can install it. Now again I am going to install it on VMware. So first I am going to create a virtual machine for our Kali Linux. So what I will do here, and remember actually we can run it on any machine by using the live DVD or the live flash. You can create a live flash and then you can use it on that flash. You can install it on the flash and you can use it anywhere. Just connect the flash and boot from that flash. Now for creating the flash, you can use the for creating the bootable flash, you can use different tools, like you can use Rufus. First I will create virtual machine and I will show you how you can create live flash also. So I will create new virtual machine for Kali, new virtual machine. Now typical, I am going for typical, then install later. Then this Kali is also Linux, so I will select Linux. Now the versions, we have different versions of Linux here. So what are the versions here? We have different versions: Debian, Fedora, Mandrive, Novell, Oracle, Red Hat Enterprise, SUSE Linux, Turbo Linux, Ubuntu, and other Linux versions. Now we have too many names here, but we don't have Kali here. So what we can do, we can go for others, and others means we can go for other 64-bit version of operating system. So other, that means any other operating system which is not mentioned here, and it is 64-bit with the ISO which I have downloaded. It is 64-bit, so I'm going to use it 64-bit. Then next, now it is saying this is other, so I will rename it to Kali Linux, and then it is going to install in the C drive. If you like, then you can move from the C drive to any other drive. You can browse and you can change the installation path. Then next, now because I have selected other 64-bit, it is giving me only 8 GB space. This is the recommended size for the other, any other, but what I will do, I will use at least 60 GB here, because I am going to install this Linux, Kali Linux, in this virtual machine. So I will store it into the single drive, and next, and I will change and customize the hardware. We can customize it from here, or we can customize it after creating. So I will customize, I will edit the virtual machine setting, because you can see the RAM, it is giving me only 256 MB, because I have chosen the other operating system, so it is giving me this. If you like, then you can increase the processor also, and you can change the network setting, display setting, and hard disk is already given to 60 GB. So what I am going to change is, I am going to edit the machine and I am going to change the RAM, and ISO, I am going to add my Kali ISO which I have downloaded from that site. So I will browse, and I have downloaded it, and this is my Kali Linux ISO. This is 2021 version 1. So I have added this. I will press OK. Now as this DVD is live DVD, I don't have to install it. I can run it directly. So suppose if you have a live DVD, no matter what operating system is already installed on that machine, you can just insert the DVD, or you can just insert the flash and then boot from that DVD or flash. So When you power on the system, you will see these options. Now because it is live CD, you can see there is live options are there. Now let me increase this so you can see clear. So these are the options we have in this DVD. Now what are the options there? The first option says live 64-bit. So if I select this first option, it will directly start the Linux. It will directly start the Kali Linux. It will not install, it will not do anything, it will just start it. Then you have other option, live failsafe. As a name said, it is for failsafe. If your installed Kali is not working, then you can use it from here to fix it. Then you have forensic mode. Now forensic mode, that means it will start the live CD in very stealthy mode. Now stealthy mode means what? Basically, you know, when your system starts, it will try to get the IP, it will try to connect the network, it will try to connect the DSCP server. Because you are getting the connected, you are connected to the network, your machine try to get the information about the network. If it is on DSCP, it will try to connect the DSCP server to get the IP address. Now when it try to send something, that means you are sending your information to the network. Suppose I want to hack somebody and I am connecting this Kali into the network of their network, so I don't want them to detect me. If they are having some kind of logging system or some kind of detection, and there is one more thing, it is called IDS. It is if they are having something like these things or something like that, then they can detect me. They can detect that somebody and someone new is joined here. Now is this mode, what it will do, it will start in very stealthy mode. It will not leave anything, it will not say anything, it will not try to probe the network. It will go directly, it will go into silent, very stealthy mode, and then we can do what we can do. And again it is a live. Then you can use USB live resistance. If you are using it on USB, you can use encrypted version. Then you can start the installer. As I said, you can install the Kali with this image also. There is a different image for installation only, and this image we can also use for installing. We can start the installation with speech synthesizers also, and there are some advanced options also available. If you go for advanced options, they are only for graphic installation are there, text installations are there. That means installation, you can install the Kali Linux in graphical, you can install the Kali Linux in the text mode, you can use the graphical installer with dark theme also, then you can use the text installer with a dark theme, and then you can use the installer with speech synthesizer. Then you have some utilities also available to check the hardware detection and to the memory diagnostic. So before installing, if you like to do memory diagnostic also. So as I said, this is live CD, you don't have to install it. So let's say I don't want to install it, I just want to start. So I can just select this live and press enter, and it will start. And as you see, it is starting, it is loading from here. And it will start in graphical mode. Okay, my machine is getting hang. Okay, now it is started. And now it is started here, and you can see this is the desktop of Kali Linux. And if you want to run commands, then there is a command prompt. So this is the command prompt where you can run those commands to do those tools. And remember, because it is Linux, and so it is not having much graphical tools. All the tools are there which is command line. So whatever the tools you are going to use is mostly command line tools. In Windows, if you use Windows, then you will use the graphical tools. Some of all of the or some of the tools or most of the tools which comes on Windows, for Windows, they are graphical. So here you can run the command, and to work with this Kali Linux you should know some basics of Linux. Some basics of Linux, that means basics commands of Linux to work with this. Otherwise when we run the tools, they are different. Some basic commands or some basic structure of Linux, that means you see this dollar symbol, that means this is the normal user, it is not the administrator. And when you see the hash sign here, that means this is the hash sign means it is administrator, that is root. And in Linux machines, administrators means root. Now by default the user account which is there in this Kali Linux is Kali. The username is Kali, machine name is also Kali, and the password for the user is also Kali. This is the default. And in this version of Kali, they have removed the root user. That means not removed, basically they have not enabled the root user. Root user is always disabled. And if we install the system, also there will be no root user. Root user will be disabled, but we can enable the root user, but that is not required. If you want to run any root command, that means any administrator's command, then we can use with that sudo command. We can just use sudo to run any administrator commands. So remember, when I run any command, if I run with sudo, that means I am running this command with the administrator's privilege, that is root privilege. And the user which is the default user here, Kali, it is having all the permissions from sudo. Sudo means super user do. So it has all the permissions, so it does not require anything, it does not require root, it can do anything. And you should understand how the structure of what is the structure of Linux. It is very simple. This ls command is to list the directory content. You can see what is inside the directory, and all the directories are inside slash. This slash is the root file system, and under the slash you have all the directories. These are system directories. Like in Windows we have Windows program file, system32 and all that, document and settings. So this is what these directories are. And if you want to go to some directory, then you will use cd command, and then the path will be like this. In Windows the paths like this, C drive and like this, but in Linux the paths will be like slash, everything is under slash, and then wherever you want to go, like I want to go to cd etc, then wherever you want to go you can give the path and you will go to that directory, and the directory name you will see here. This is the commands, command line. If you want to use it graphically, then you can go to the file system here, and you can see this is slash, and under the slash you have all the directories. You will not see partitions here, you will see only file system slash, you see only folders, directories. Then what we have here, we have this terminal, then we have this another tool which is called Kazam. This is to record your screen and video and screenshot. It is to record your screen. Then this is your file explorer, open folder, desktop, document, downloads. You see which user is logged in, it is Kali. Then this is what, this is minimize all open windows and show the desktop. So whenever you click this, it will minimize all the windows and show the desktop. Then here you have date and time, then you have network option here, and you can see it is connected by default because we have not used the stealth version, the forensic mode. So if you use the forensic mode, the network will not enable. It will you can enable after the start also. Then you have notification, sound option, you have computer presentation mode or setting you can change. You have option to lock the screen, you have option to log out. Log out, restart, shut down, suspend, switch user. Then in Windows you have start button. In this Linux we have this button here where you will see all the applications. So when you click this, now here you will see the favorite applications. Then you have recently used, and all applications. These are all applications which is there. Now what we need is the hacking applications, and you can see here these are all related to hacking or penetration testing. You have options to information gathering. When you click this, it will show you this, that you have DNS analysis, IDS IPS analysis, live host identification, and when you click on this you have these different tools. When you click on this you have these different tools. When you click this you have these different tools, and when you click this, these are command line tools. When you click this, it will open into command line. So they are not graphical tools, they are mostly command line tools. So you have information gathering, you have vulnerability analysis, you have web application analysis, you have database analysis, you have password attacks, you have wireless attacks, you have reverse engineering, exploitation tools, sniffing and spoofing tools, you have post exploitation, forensic, reporting, social engineering, and you have also Kali Office link. These are OffSec link, that is what Kali bugs, dogs, forms, Linux tools, training, NetHunter. Then you have settings for this machines. This is operating system setting. You can change desktop setting, keyboard setting, display setting. Then you have usual applications which we use, like internet applications. We have Chromium browser, we have we have Firefox, we have web browser. Now we can use any of these, and we have recycle bin also here. Now we can use any of these because we can use any of these, but remember it is not installed. Right now it is not installed, it is running live. Now if we want to install it, so I will shut down this, start again, or I will restart. Now this time I want, so what I'll do here, for installation I will select start installer. So this will do what? It will install the Kali Linux in my system. So if you are having a permanent machine which you want to use it for the hacking, then you can install it on that. Or if you are not having a permanent machine, you should have live DVD, live flash, so that you can use it for anywhere. So if I want to install it, then I will select start installer. And it will start the graphical installer. It is not text based installer. So here it is asking select the language. So whatever language you understand, you can select it. So I will go with the English, and I'll say OK, continue. You can go back, and even you can take a screenshot also, so that you can explain someone that how you can install it. Then here it is asking for your location. Select your location where you are right now. So these is the shortlisted locations here. based on the language selected, which language I select. Based on that, it is showing me the shortlisted version. That means those countries where these languages are spoken. So I will select India here. Next, now it is again saying keyboard layout. Keyboard layout is important because if you select wrong keyboard layout, your keys will misplace. So my keyboard is US English, so US keyboard layout, so I will go with this and continue. Now it is loading the installer components from the installation media to start the installation. Now it is saying configure the network options. First it is saying configure the host name, whatever the machine name you want. Machine name, that means the machine name by default is Kali. We have seen it there when we started the live CD. We saw that the name was Kali, but if you like, then you can change any machine. Like I will say this is my test machine, or I will say test Kali. Then it is asking for the domain name. Now domain name, that means if you are having a domain in your if you are in a domain environment and you are in the DNS domain, then you can give this domain name also. Right now we are not having any domain, we are using it separately, so I will not use any name here. I will go blank. Now it is using for it is saying to set up the user and password. Now remember, it is not enable the root user. Root is your administrator which has all the permissions of machine. Now root is not available. It says here that the user account will be created for you to use instead of the root account for non-administrative activities. So please enter the real name of this user. The information will be used for instance as default origin for email sent by this user, as well as any program which displays or uses the user's real name. Your full name is a reasonable choice. So whatever you will give the name you want to create the user. So I will give like I'm using a small name. Then it is saying select the username for the new account. Your first name is reasonable choice. So the surname should start with a lowercase letter, which can be followed by the combination of numbers and more lowercase letters. So now it is asking you to set the username for the new account. So I am going to use the name same as username also. So previously it was the name and here it is the username. So username will be anything like shorter than the real name, which is easy to type and log in. So this will be your login name. So I'm going to use the same. I'm not changing it. Now it is asking you to provide the password. A good password will contain a mixture of letters, numbers, punctuation should be changed at regular interval. Let's say I will give password ABC. You can see the password also. Retype ABC. I'm using a simple password, but it is not recommended. You should use the complex password. Now it is setting up the clock and it is getting the time from the network time server. Now it is detecting the disk, and now we are having a partition option. So partition the disk. Now it is saying how you want to create the partition. First, you want to use the entire disk. Now if you are having a disk which is not having any other data, then we can use the entire disk, or we can use the entire disk and set up the LVM. Now LVM is the logical volume manager. So logical volume management in Linux is to have a flexibility. This option gives you the flexibility that you can anytime increase or decrease the size of the volume. If you create the normal partition, you will not get the option to increase or decrease the volume in Linux. So if you use the LVM partitions, then you can do what? It will give you the flexibility to increase and decrease the volume and many other features also. Then use the entire disk and set up the encrypted LVM. This is normal LVM partition, and this will be encrypted LVM partition. Then also you can select manual. That means if you like, then you can create your own partitions. Now remember, partitions will not be seen in Linux. In Linux file system, you will see only directories. So when you create a partition in Linux, you have to mount it on some directory. So you can see the directory, but you cannot see the partition. Whatever you store in that directory, it will go to that partition and store. So when you are creating manually, there are some important partitions you should create. That is the root partition, which is mounted on the slash, because every directory in the system will go under the slash. So you need a partition for the slash. Then the other important partition is swap. So you need to have a swap partition. Swap partition is the virtual memory page file in Linux, in Windows. It is the hard disk space which the machine uses as a RAM, for the buffer of RAM. So if you are creating manually, then you have to create slash partition and also swap partition. Now I am going to use the entire disk because I am not having any data in the disk, and I don't want to have any other partitions also. Now it is saying here that this is your disk. The disk is SCSI, and the name for the disk is SDA. The SDA name for this disk is the system name in Linux. This is the size of the disk, and this is the type of the disk, and the system name is SDA. Then I will go for next. Okay, I want to do this. I am confirming it. Now it is saying that selected for partitioning is this disk, and the disk can be partitioned using one of several different schemes. If you unsure, choose the first one. So this is the schemes for creating the partitions. Now first it says all files in one partition. This is recommended for new users. Now if you are a new user, you don't know much about the Linux systems, then you can directly go for this. That will do what? It will store all the files in the same partition. Or you can use this option, that separate home partition. This home partition contains all the users information. Users information, that means users home directory. So if you create multiple users, so their users home directory will go to this home directory, and this home directory will go under the slash. So by default it will go to slash, that means it will go to slash partition. But if you are creating the home partition separately, then it will create slash, and then it will create one more partition, and it will mount that partition over the home directory, so that whatever you store in the home directory, it will go to that separate partition, then slash. So slash partition is like your C drive in Windows, and home partition will be the D drive for your D drive, just like in your Windows. But you will not see those partitions, you will see only these directories. You will see the slash directory, you will see the home directory. Or even you can go for this option, which will do what? It will create separately home, var and temp directories, and partitions for these home, var and temp directory. So One partition will be on slash, so everything will go to slash except these three directories. Whatever data we'll put into these three directories, they will go to separate partition. Home partition is for users. Var partition is the variable data. Variable data is basically the database kind of directory where you will have email database, web server database, and even the SQL database. All the database kind of thing goes, all the data goes to this var directory. So if you are having some var database kind of services you want to run in this system, Linux system, so you can create separate var directory. If you are wanted this system to use as a Linux, but now we don't want to use it as a Linux, we actually wanted to use it for the hacking tools. So what we are going to do, we are just going to use this recommended thing and we are going to install it everything on single partition. That means it is going to create only slash, no other partitions. So what it did here, it has created, you can see here, it has created one partition and that is 63.4 GB and that partition is mounted on slash. So whatever we store in this system, all the directories are under slash. So whatever we store in this machine, everything will go to slash and slash data will go to this partition. Then we have another partition it has created and this is logical of 1 GB and this is what? Swap. And swap means it is what? It is the virtual memory. It is like virtual memory and page file in Windows. It is the space of the hard disk which will work as a RAM, and it is using 1 GB for that. Then you have option here that undo changes to partitions, like whatever the changes we have created, if you don't like it then you can undo this, or we can go with this changes, finish partitioning and write changes to disk. Remember, till now any changes have not been written to the disk. That means till this stage if there is any data in the disk, it is not removed. But when you select this finish partition and write the changes, then it will remove the existing data and then create the new partitions. So I will go with this. I don't have any data. Now again it is asking me that if you continue, the changes listed below will be written to the disk, otherwise you will be able to make further changes manually. But the partition table of this following device change this and the following partitions will be created. And this is the file system for this Linux ext4. In Windows you have LTFS file system, in Linux we have ext4 here in this Kali Linux. So now I am sure what I am doing, so I will say yes, I want to do this. And now it is created those partitions and now installing the system. So now the installation is begun. After this also we will have some steps to follow. It will take some time, then we have some more steps to do. So for making a bootable flash with the Kali Linux ISO, live ISO, we can make it by using this small software called Rufus. What you will do, you will connect your flash, my flash is there, it is 8 GB, and then you have to select the ISO here. You can select the Kali Linux ISO, which is live ISO, and other options it will select automatically. The volume name will be selected, type also automatically selected. You just have to start this and it will do automatically everything. It will install the Kali Linux in your flash, and when it is finished then you can close it and then you can boot your system with this flash, and it will detect, it will start the Kali from flash. So it is the good idea that flash you can connect everywhere. Sometime you don't have CD drive, but still you have a USB port there, so you can connect the flash there and you can just boot the Kali from your flash and you can do anything what you want. So it is a quick way to do these hacking things with using the live Kali, and on the flash also it is good. Now after all, what it do here, it says configure the package manager. Now package manager, that means it is configuring the package manager that you can download the package from. So a network mirror can be used to supplement the software that is included on the installation media. This may also make newer version of software available. So you want to do it or not. So if you say okay, I want it, yes, then you will go for continue. Then it says, do you use proxy to connect the internet? Remember, to do this you have to connect it to internet. So I have connected the virtual machine to internet. Now do you need proxy for connecting the internet? So if you are using a proxy to connect the internet, then you will mention the proxy information here. That means the name of the proxy and the port of the proxy. Now if you are not using the proxy, then you will leave it blank. So I am not using any proxy. Now it is configuring the package manager. Package manager is actually, you can see here, it is saying configuring apt software. This apt-get command is to download and install any packages in your system. So after installation, if you are not having any package, then you can download and install with this apt-get command. So this is actually configuring it, and it is configuring the mirror from internet where we can download the packages. So it will take a little time. It is showing the time which it will take. So let it finish. Now next, it is asking us to install the bootloader. Bootloader, it is helping you to boot the system, boot the machine, and also give you some advanced feature for the booting option. Now if you don't select anything, if you don't say that don't install the bootloader, it is again installing it will install the normal bootloader, which is Lilo, but we can use the Grub bootloader also. Grub bootloader will give you some advanced features also. So in this step, it is asking us to install the bootloader, or you don't want to install the bootloader. So I will say okay, I will go with the bootloader, I will go with the Grub bootloader, and I say okay, continue. Now it is asking that where you want to install the bootloader. You can select the entire device manually, enter the device manually. If you are having multiple hard disks, then you can select where you want to install the bootloader, in which partition, or you can go with the main hard disk. You can say the name is what, the system name is what, SDA. We have seen already our hard disk system name is SDA, which is under the dev directory, where you see all the device files are there. So I will select this where I want to install the bootloader, and I will say continue. And now it is installing the bootloader. It will not take much time. Now it is finishing the installation. It has already installed the bootloader, and it is already done now. It will not take much time. So the installation is completed, and now we can continue. And because we are installed the system, now it is removing these live packages from here, so that now it is no longer live image, it is now installed image. So installation is finished. Now the machine is rebooted and it is starting, and now it is started. So now it is asking for login, and remember the user you created and the password you created for that user, and okay. And now it is started. Now when you start this first time, when you install, then you should update it. Update it means update the all applications and everything, and that is why we set up that mirror. So you open the command prompt from here, and you can see this is the username and this is the machine name. Now previously it was Kali Kali, and if you want to increase the text size, then you can go to view, edit, and you can do zoom in, or you can use the shortcut Control plus plus to increase the font like normal Linux. Okay, now here if you want to update it, then you will use the command apt-get update. This will do what? It will update all the available tools and applications in your Kali Linux, and for that it will go and it will use the mirror which we have already configured. Now this command is, we can run this command by the root user, because it is updating the system is the root's job. Now remember, this user is the normal user. You can see the dollar symbol here, it means this is the normal user. And if you want to do any administrative job, that is root task, then you have to run the command by using sudo. In normal, if you are logged in as a root, you can directly run this, but we are not logged in as a root and root is disabled, so we can use this sudo command. Now it is asking me the password of the current user so that it can run this command. It is the process of sudo, so I will provide the password, and it is trying to update if anything remains. Now it says nothing, reading package list is okay, and there is no package for update, because this one, the version which I have downloaded is the latest one, so there is nothing, no updates are available for this one. But if you are having some old one, then you will update. When you will update, then it will take a long time for that. So this is how you can install this, and you can update this also. After updating, you are ready to use this Kali. So whether you can use Windows system, but Windows system does not have any other tools, we can use the Linux system, and in Linux system we should use Kali, where you have all the tools available. So this is how you can set up the job, set up the lab for your hacking, and the machines which you required, and the Kali machine, how we can install it and update it.